Do these songs sound the same to you?
I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all day, all night, party till sunrise now, don't stop.
Dua-Lipa, the English pop singer, is getting sued because of the similarities between her 2020 song Levitating and Live Your Life, a 2017 song by the South Florida reggae band Artikal Sound System. Now, I am not a lawyer, I'm a music theorist, but listening back to the two songs, it seems like this is an open and shut case of copyright infringement. Or at least it seems that way. Both songs are in the key of B minor, and they share a similar tempo of about 100 beats per minute. They're built from similar, but not the same, 4-chord chord loops in a minor key. They both start on B minor 7, the 1 minor 7, then go to F sharp minor 7, the 5 minor 7, then E minor 7, the 4 minor 7. Following that, Levitating returns to the B minor 7, but Live Your Life stays on the E minor 7 for the last bar. This use of 1 minor 7 and 5 minor 7 and 4 minor 7 in a dance style is not particularly noteworthy. ELO's Evil Woman more or less uses the same chords. But the melodies of Live Your Life and Levitating are nearly identical. The same notes of the key are being targeted on the same beats with the same rhythm, a rhythm which is called the Charleston, a dotted eighth followed by a 16th note followed by a rest. The first beat in both songs emphasizes the 5 of the key, F sharp. The third beat emphasizes the 4 of the key, E. The first beat of the following measure also emphasizes the 4 of the key, E. And the next beat stays on the 4 of the key, E, although the underlying chord change is different. The simple pattern on the Charleston rhythm of 5-4-4-4 repeats again in the following 2 bars, although in the Dua-Lipa, the song's hook, I'm Levitating, breaks the pattern somewhat on the final 2 beats of the 4-bar chorus. There are some pretty significant lyrical similarities as well. The rhyme scheme is almost the same. The phrase all night appears verbatim in both choruses with the same rhythm and on the same note of the key. So yeah, because the two songs are constructed in a similar way, they sound essentially the same, or at least in this chorus section. It does seem like Artikal Sound System has a point here with this lawsuit. It would seem that way, right? But I don't think they do. First of all, the rhythm that's being used is so common it has a name. It's called the Charleston. A mostly white reggae band from South Florida did not invent the Charleston rhythm 4 years ago. It's been a common trope in 70s style dance melodies like the Jacksons' Blame It on the Boogie, for example.
Sunshine, don't blame it on the moonlight, don't blame it on the good times.
There are plenty of other songs which use this rhythm in a dance context, including a song which was released a year before Live Your Life in 2016, which has the Charleston rhythm, the 5-4-4 melodic arc, a similar minor key chord progression, and near identical rhyme scheme. It's of course the outro to DNCE's Cake by the Ocean. The key is different and the melody is displaced by 2 beats, but it works very easily in a mashup. So there we go. Live Your Life was definitely not the first to do this kind of melody. In fact, the more damning evidence comes from an even earlier song, Outkast's 1988 song, Rosa Parks. It's the exact same melody with the Charleston rhythm, outlining scale degrees 5-4-4-4 at the same tempo. If you adjust for the key, it's exactly the same song as both Live Your Life and Levitating.
All day, all night, party till sunrise now. Baby, baby, all day, all night, party till sunrise now. All night, baby, sunrise now.
Pretty damn identical, all 3 of them. People have been pointing out the similarity of Outkast's Rosa Parks as well as the Jacksons' Blame It on the Boogie to Dua-Lipa's Levitating for the past couple of years now. And Dua-Lipa herself cited Outkast as an inspiration for her album Future Nostalgia. So when you take a look at the actual text of the lawsuit that Artikal Sound System filed and read that it is highly unlikely Levitating was created independently from Live Your Life, I have some doubts. As of this video, the only way that you could listen to the song Live Your Life is on a SoundCloud link, an unaffiliated YouTube video freebooting the song, and an out-of-stock physical CD you can purchase from Amazon. The lawsuit claims that it was released on streaming services, and it may have once been available that way, but it isn't any longer. Numerous websites have reported that the song reached #2 on the reggae charts, but that's been difficult to corroborate except for a Facebook post from 2017. It seems to me that Artikal Sound System, through various press releases and the lawsuit itself, is trying to make it seem like the song was a lot bigger than it ever actually was, because it needs to prove that Dua-Lipa and her co-songwriters had heard Live Your Life prior to writing Levitating. Now, you can't prove that Dua-Lipa didn't take inspiration from Live Your Life, although it's very unlikely, especially considering that the genesis of Levitating has already been very publicly documented. A 2020 episode of the podcast Song Exploder documented the creative process of writing Levitating, from demos to voice memos. Dua Lipa's producer, Kaz, tells the story of purchasing a vintage Roland VP330 synth and...
Literally the first thing I played was like what turned into Levitating.
He took that initial idea of that 4-chord loop, B minor 7, F sharp minor 7, E minor 7, B minor 7, and then brought it into a writing session for Dua Lipa. There, Dua Lipa improvised melodies on top of the scratch demo, which is a very common way of writing pop songs. You just improvise to find something that fits.
Almost immediately, we went into the melody of... And then you kind of hear Sarah in the background going, oh my God.
When she was improvising this verse melody, she probably wasn't thinking about Stella Soleil's version of Kiss Kiss.
When you look at me and tell me what do you see, this is what you get, it's the way I am.
If you wanna run away with me, I know a galaxy and I can take you for a ride.
But it is very reminiscent of it. Same thing probably when she was improvising and landed on what is Outkast's Rosa Parks.
She was like instant on the melody.
From these voice memos, it's pretty clear that 1, Levitating did not come from Live Your Life, and 2, both songs drew on prior art, things that other musicians had done beforehand, like, for example, Outkast. What's fascinating about this lawsuit is that it does not even attempt to do any kind of musicological analysis. Usually with lawsuits like this, like in the Ed Sheeran Marvin Gaye case, the plaintiff will make their case musically, like what we just did. They'll go through on a technical level explaining to the court why the songs sound the same. That kind of analysis is explicitly missing from the court documents, and I think the reason for that is because they probably couldn't find a musicologist willing to go to bat for them, willing to stake their professional careers on defending Artikal Sound System. I first saw the example of Outkast's Rosa Parks in a video put together by the Berkeley professor and musicologist Wayne Marshall. In his Twitter thread, he opines that there is money in this game, but I will debunk a spurious copyright claim for fun and for free. Levitating was released in 2020, and Rick Beato had a thought on why it took so long for there to be a lawsuit filed.
When you're dealing with a big corporation or big artists, it's hard to find lawyers that are willing to take on a case of copyright infringement.
I don't think musicologists and music theorists have wanted to touch this either, because the professionals know that there is always prior art. And in the wake of all of these frivolous copyright lawsuits, there's the general understanding that copyright should be used to protect those who meaningfully contribute to the musical language. And I just don't think that Artikal Sound System really did that with their song Live Your Life. Because if you were to argue this case in court, as it's been argued in the court of public opinion for the past several days, you'd effectively be saying that a mostly white reggae band from South Florida owns musical tropes that originated with black folk as they profit off of black culture. In that Twitter thread, Wayne Marshall also noted that this whole lawsuit, quote, reminds me of the time some Boston electro OGs were suing Limp Bizkit, and I had to tell the lawyers that both of them were clearly referencing Kraftwerk. If this goes to court and Artikal Sound System ends up winning, Lord knows Outkast will have a strong case against them. Live My Life and Levitating sound exactly the same because Outkast did it first. If you like this video, maybe consider checking out my Patreon. There's a Patreon-only Discord where you can go get nerdy with fellow music heads. And also consider clicking on this playlist where you can find other videos where I dissect other music lawsuits. I'll see you in the next video.